Good day, and welcome to Majesco's podcast series on industry leaders. I am really thrilled today to have with me Désirée Mettraux, who is the CEO of OCC, a insurance company based in Hamburg, Germany, focused around classic cars. And she's got a fascinating background, and as a woman in the industry focused on automobiles, it's really quite interesting. So Désirée, welcome. Glad to have you with us today.
Thank you, Denise. I'm really happy to be with you today and looking forward on our discussion.
When you and I first talked, after Robin introduced us to each other, I was just fascinated with your background, both from the standpoint of what you've done in insurance, but also what you've done around innovation and insurtech. So give a little bit of background about yourself and what you've done around innovation and what you're doing today at OCC.
So thank you, Denise, for that kind introduction. I'm very thrilled also to be here with you. So my background is several years, nearly 20 years in the insurance industry, and my background was like always I had to do or to handle something with the car insurance, but I'm not like passionate car dealer like other people are. So I was responsible for a big insurance company in Switzerland for the whole car insurance, and I did that several years. At that time I was like really young and the only women who did that. And then I did several years. I did like in the whole startup community and insurtech community. I built up corporate venture for a Swiss insurance company, and they made insurtech, so I built it up this. And then I did my own startup in the camper economy, sharing economy. So we did, and it's still running. It's the biggest platform in Switzerland now, the sharing platform for campers. And I was really interested in this whole insurance solution about platform. Also, I'm really interested in the whole platform economics because every digital platform that you build today, at one point there will be the questions about the insurance, and that's something that I'm really driven about it. Then I did for the government from the place where I lived. I did like startup mentoring and coaching, and it's all about the ecosystem, and it's all about building up digital marketplaces and platforms. And last year I started here in Germany as CEO from OCC, and then OCC is the market player for Germany, Switzerland, and Austria for the insurance for classic cars. And classic car, it's not only like what we think about, it's only the old timer, it's also the motorbikes, it's the old caravans, it's also tractors and all stuff, trucks and big trucks and all stuff like that. I mean, that's a really, really big community. And my tipping point is like this company was built over 36 years ago, and it's really I mean they had great success, but they don't made really the last 5 years there was not that much focus on digitalization and also innovation. So you have a big company, we are like nearly 100 people. We have a really big customer base, but I mean now there are other leaders that coming into the market. There are other people that are also doing like classic cars, and we are still the market leader, but now we have to really go on the transformation with innovation, get the basics right. And for me it's like also the path to go put in the company this kind of growth mindset and also this transformation mindset, because I see that OCC is in the beginning of their real big growth. So now it's like the next phase of scale.
Mentoring, particularly around startups and insurtechs, I know I'm involved in that. over here in the US with the Global Insurance Accelerator and with Silicon Valley Insurance Accelerator, but you've had a chance to really kind of mentor a number of different startups as well. And what have you learned from that? And what would you share with other leaders like yourself on the crucial things to consider around working with some of these startups, that ecosystem as you talk about, and around innovation?
I think, it's quite important to be really, really critical. You have to be the biggest critical of your own and of your business model. Sometimes people always they lay back too fast on their own success because, oh, we have a little bit of traction, oh, that works, or we have made this or that, but that's not enough. I mean, you are never on this 100%, and so you always have to challenging, and you have to have the right people with you that go with you this journey, because I mean you don't and always is like, also in this whole insurtech industry, there is always like the past that the people think, oh, we need more people, we have to grow the team fast, but always I think that's not the right way. You have to be small, and then and with the right people, then you go fast. And the funny thing about innovation, it's like I have always like a little bit strange conversation with myself to innovation, because I think, if you face it, the team of insurance and innovation, and then you have to understand the meaning of innovation, because how innovative can you be? Because the customer is the person that really decide if this innovation truly want something that he wants to have. So you have to really understand that. I mean, it's that there was a lot of discussion with blockchain, and we need that, and machine learning, and all this stuff. I mean, I love
the hot topics of the day.
yeah, and I love technology, and I'm truly believe in stuff like that. But I mean, in the end, there is sitting Mr. X, and he just wants to have a car insurance because he wants to he buy the new car and he wants to drive with it, and do he really need all that stuff, the super innovative stuff to go on the street with his car? So that's I think that's always the challenge, and yes, innovation it's good. Also this disruption for the whole industry and stuff like that, new technology, but you always have to think about really on this customer centric, and do the customer really need that? And one thing that's really, really important also for me and for every startup that I worked with, you are not your customer. That's like the main statement that you have to have in your mind, and that you have really rethink everything.
I think that's spot on. I know that one of the things that I've written about and I've talked a lot about is that as an industry, having been in it a little bit longer than you, Désirée, is that we have tended to kind of look internally to thinking that we know everything about insurance and we know what the customer is going to need and what they want, et cetera. And we've taken a very internal kind of focus. And I thought one of the really interesting things that InsurTech did was really take an outside-in perspective. Yep. They started ultimately with the customer, and they didn't assume anything. They didn't assume, what people expected from insurance. They just took it from a different perspective, and I think that's where real innovation comes from. And it's really a Steve Jobs kind of perspective, when he really designed and built things that customers didn't even know that they wanted or needed. And I think that's really the power of innovation, is really taking it from that customer perspective.
Yeah, I think that also, I mean, no one needed to pay as you drive policy, and now you can have it, and you can use your app, and everything is like easy, and then with the one InsurTech that I built up for this corporate insurance, for this corporate venture, we had also like this whole innovation thing was really important in building the business models, and there we launched something really successful. Also, it was highly technology, but the customer, he didn't realize it. And I think that's the true innovation, because for a customer it's like, oh, it's just easy in handling and the UX is fine and stuff like that. And I think that's the big part of innovation. If the customer don't realize how complex or how huge the technology behind is.
Couldn't agree more. And when I think about innovation, particularly in light of everything that's happening in the world today with the pandemic, there's a lot of businesses, even automobile manufacturers and dealerships, et cetera, are really impacted, by people not buying, vehicles right now, or looking at, people not driving their vehicles as much. And, I think today it would be very easy to look at what is happening in the world and say, we've got to do cost containment. We've got to do some cost cutting, and maybe we just got to get back to the basics. Yet on the other hand, I'm hearing from some companies that are saying, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this period of time, and I'm really going to look at innovation, because we've had a lot of major events that have disrupted the marketplace in the last 20 years. And this is just another one. And if we keep thinking it's going to, there'll be the right time, there's never the right time. And I think that today, innovation could really kind of do some really interesting and great things on behalf of the industry, but more importantly, on behalf of the customers that we all insure and support. What are your thoughts on that, Désirée?
One thing that's for me really fantastic is if you cooperate with a lot of insurance companies or market leaders or whatever, with different kind of companies, and you interact with them, and if it was in the past, it was a little bit difficult because the technology was not like something that they really believed in, and it's really fantastic to see how fast companies could change their behaviors about the pandemic to interact each other with technology and also like with innovation. And I have seen in the last few weeks, I mean only 2-3 weeks, so much fun and our innovative initiatives, also campaigning stuff like that I'm really happy about it. And it's like a true, I say the corona pandemic is like the really first true digitalization builder. So I see it that. And I mean, a lot of people, they are like stuck or shocked in this situation, but there will be a life after corona, and we also have to believe in that. Maybe, I mean, also if the situation in the whole world it will be a little bit better, but the virus is not away. So we have to live with the virus in the next, I don't know, year, 2 years. I mean, it's like, it's as fast they've found some against. But so we have to change, and also the industry has to change, and that's what I agree what you say. So now it's a really chance to change things, and bring your product, your whatever you do in this whole situation faster to the clients.
Yeah, exactly. So, one of the things that we talked about that has really begun to kind of come forward from an industry perspective is a different kind of point of view relative to, is it just auto insurance, or is it really providing a mobility experience, insurance, so to speak? It's a very different concept versus a transaction of just selling an auto insurance policy versus taking care of somebody's full mobility kind of experience. It could be their auto, their camper, it could be, their motorbike, their high-end bicycle, lots of different things. And that's where this whole ecosystem and platform and the whole concept of mobility is heading. What's your views on that, and where do you see insurance companies like yourselves fitting into that mobility experience?
I cannot disagree with you. So I mean, it's like the whole society is changing, the habits, everything is changing, and also the mobility. I mean, everything is more like hybrid. We want to, in every kind of lifestyle situation, we want to choose how we want to do this, or how we want to travel, how we want to live. So it's lot more individuality, and I think that's something that we always have to remember, building the new customer journeys for the whole insurance industry. And we at OCC, we also have the goal or the path to go that we have to think about what's with the classic car in 10 years, in 20 years. I mean, there is always like the CO2, the climate discussion. So it's like also in 20 years, can you still driving around with an old timer? We don't know. So we have to think. So how will mobility will change? But the good thing is, or the happy thing is, like, we have set up a business model for a niche team. And so we are really looking forward or thinking about copy paste, do a little bit copycat, because this thing, it also works like for e-mobility. It could be in my belief, is like, so this whole mobility travel community, when someone is like urban, he lives in a big city, as you said, the bike, he does maybe with every kind of vehicle that he is on his way to build up like a solution, a product solution like that covers everything in that way, with like all risk solutions. So we're also in a need to thinking about that, and it will change. So I mean it's like always, it's at least the business model of Kodak. You have seen they are really successful, but sometimes things are changing, and it's always the questions, if the things changes your business model, or you change it before as you've seen it.
Yep, absolutely. So and I think it's even more so important because of this next generation of buyers, the Millennials and Gen Z, because their behaviors and their lifestyles are so different than the previous generations. You know, they're not kind of following that traditional approach.
Yeah. And I think it's also good. I mean that there was always over generation, the habits and the things are changing. And I really believe if you go back on mobility and go back on insurance, I really believe at this whole thing of tracking and point of sale solution. And I really believe in that that at some point the smartwatch, the smartphone, or really this smart glasses will have a more important role on our whole lives. And I think also insurance solution that follow you on your whole way, and that will be the kind of safetiness that you will have, and not I go and insure my vehicle or my car or my stuff like that. So now we are all a single opportunity, and I think with all these gadgets you have like your lifestyle guide that insures your lifestyle.
Boom, you know, with the pandemic and with a lot of technologies and with InsurTech and a lot of changes that are happening all at once. What advice would you give to other C-level executives like yourself and at yours that they need to start thinking about as we kind of enter into this decade in all the different roles that you've had?
For me, one thing that's really important is, or what really matters also for me in the future is to be empathic, and culture that you bring in your company, and the culture that you want to be as company, and the mindset. So I think that's the real important thing. Also, if you see in this crisis where we are right now, and I think a situation like that, they will be focused in all the other stuff. If you are looking at the truth, I mean, technology, you always have someone that have you as a technology solution. There will be always someone that, if you have customer care, if you have the whole thing that you have to do, the whole how do you say that, but if you in an insurance company, you have to do claims, you have support, you have product, you have marketing, and all this discipline that you have to do. There are other people that already have done that. So you can always find some advices. You always will find your way. But if you don't have like the right mindset, the right culture, and not the real leadership skills that you are needing in times like that we are right now, then it will be like, yeah, then will it be not easy. And it's also important to have people like a management team that also have this vision, this North Star, and who follow you on your way. And I think that's, for me personally, the really important thing. And you always have to make your people clear where you want to go.
Yeah, leadership matters. As we close up here, if you could pick one word or phrase to describe the future of insurance, what would it be and why?
I think also, coming back on, I think it's mindset. Are we ready for a next big step? And do we have like the mindset for the really go deep into the customer centricity? And that will be like the important thing, I think, for the future.
Fantastic. I couldn't agree more, Désirée. And, it's going to be an interesting next decade. And I'm looking forward to following what you're doing at OCC and all of the exciting things there and your leadership. And I'm hoping that we'll get to finally meet each other in person at one of the at the InsurTech Connect event, maybe in the near future, if it goes forward.
I hope so, and I'm really, I would love if would the ICT in Las Vegas would be happen. So we will see, and but at least I think next year we will meet each other personally.
Absolutely. Well, good luck. Congratulations on all that you're doing there with Classic Cars. Looking forward to seeing some exciting, bright things coming forward. Thanks, Désirée, for your time today.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you.